And all this chaos swirling around conflicting policy aims when combined with Russia and Ukraine leads to the next issue in Dot to Connect. That is how interconnected and dependent everything, and I mean everything, is to energy. Natural gas is a core feedstock for the EU. Of course, some of it is used to heat homes in winter, some of it's used to generate electricity to power lights and EVs, some of it's used to power transportation with compressed natural gas or CNG, and some of it's used in the chemical industries to manufacture all kinds of modern products and appliances and medicines. And some of it is used in agrochemicals to manufacture fertilizers to grow food and livestock. So it's also tied, natural gas is, to our food supply. And we've talked about a lot of those issues in prior episodes of the Far Middle. But those last two uses that I just mentioned, chemicals and agrochemicals to make products and goods and fertilizer, those two industries are finding out what happens when the EU loses access to the mighty methane molecule that is natural gas. Putin is slowly turning that gas valve on pipes like Nord Stream to the closed position, and he may keep turning them all the way to closed if he does not get his way on Ukraine by the time fall and winter roll around. And this is creating a true natural gas and energy shortage when you take Russia's actions and couple them with these energy policies that created energy scarcity and inflation. So that leads to real and serious problems in the EU. Case in point, the largest integrated chemicals complex in the world. It's in the EU. It's located in Germany. That complex is run by a giant German multi-billion euro corporation. And that company said it may need to close the complex, a first in the complex's history, because of energy scarcity. Now, that would stop ammonia production from the complex, which is the key feedstock for fertilizer, which is a key ingredient, of course, to a food supply. Which means, traces through now, let's see, the EU adopts energy policy that runs the domestic natural gas and oil industry to the off position, and instead has a mad dash to things like wind and solar. Wind and solar can't deliver at scale quick enough, so that means the EU has to rely on Russian natural gas to fill the void in the short and intermediate term. The prices of energy go up. Russia feels strong by all this and its energy leverage that it brings, and it invades Ukraine. It shuts down energy supply when the EU starts barking about its invasion of Ukraine, and that takes energy inflation, makes it worse, and then adds outright energy scarcity to the mix on top of the inflation. And then you see these large industrial complexes in Europe that need natural gas. They're going to have to potentially idle or reduce output. That crimps supplies of key things like fertilizer, sparking a similar crisis of inflation and scarcity when it comes to food supplies. And to top it all off, the idling or scaling back of such a massive industrial complex is going to create job losses and threaten recession at the worst possible time. So a note of sobering irony, that giant German corporation that runs the world's largest integrated chemical complex, it has a net zero carbon goal that it announced that targets the year 2050. And unfortunately, that company may get to net zero in 2022, albeit unexpectedly and not in a pleasant way for any of us. And you wonder if such a major corporation thought through all this when assessing its true risks on behalf of its stakeholders and its customers and its investors.